most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
Let's go. Doing great, my brother. Took a quick trip to Seattle, metaphorically here, speaking UFC terms. But I'm doing great, brother. It's a Monday. Ripping off the Band-Aid here for the week. Every day's a good day, my brother. And if you're here with us, you're trickling in, maybe you're tuning in at a later time, we appreciate having you. Even better now. Let's go, baby.
Yes, I love to hear it, man. Love to have you back, as always. You know what? I'm actually going to take the glasses off until we get to that specific fight, just in case anybody doesn't tune in until then. Add to the excitement. So, with that being said, folks, we have one hell of a fight card to go through. UFC Seattle was a fight card that a lot of people scoffed at. A lot of people talked a lot of smack about, right? Look, we had fight cancellations. It happens. It is a part of the business, an inevitable part of the business at that, folks. So, I mean, with that being said, I think it still delivered more than it should have. It truly felt like an engine firing on all cylinders did this fight card, especially in the prelims, which we're going to go ahead and jump right on into, folks. And the first fight of the night was a bout between Modestas KO and Rafael Cerqueira. Didn't last very long, did it, Nano? My goodness, it did not last long. It was about 2 minutes and 12 seconds was the fight. Nano, I'm going to give you the lead on this one because, geez Louise, I think we were both riding the bullet on Bukowskis, but I don't think either of us saw it happening like that.
Absolutely not, my brother. It was a fantastic start to the card here. A fun, fanatical finish here in the light heavyweight division. Modestas Bukowskis let people know who the real UFC vet is, and let the world know that it's levels to this game. Okay, Rafael Cerqueira, certainly a dog, came in there with guns a-blazing, but was not able to get his offense going. And hey, man, like we like to say around here, we call it meats and potatoes. Okay, just left, right, 1-2, 1-2 off the center line. Get just move in some capacity. 1-2, move 1-2, dodged up, dip, dive, and dodge. Coined in famously dodgeball. But back to fighting here. Modestas, man, had it all on display, but really, again, connected with that 1-2, 1-2. And then by that third time around, man, all it takes is one sweet note of chin music to Rafael. And, man, it was over before it really got started, right? I mean, 25 total strikes between the two of them. But, again, it was a quick exclamation point win for Modestas Bukowskis here. In terms of what's next for the light heavyweight, definitely a fun name, but someone that has been around the block. And when you get an exciting victory like that to set the tone, right? You're the leadoff batter and you get a home run, you got to get rewarded for it. Now, when I'm looking at the light heavyweight division, a man that also fought on this card, the number 15 spot, what is the barrier of entry? Well, first in line is Alonzo Menafield. Now, I don't know if we throw Modestas all the way to the Lion's Den just yet. I don't know if he's ready for that gladiator arena at this moment. I think I might want to see maybe another win from a top 25er. Again, the guy has a name. If he could start to get a little bit of a streak going here, which is now 2, right? It's not favorable in that sense. He's been able to get a couple wins, then a loss. So, hey, let's get that 3-fight win streak in a row, maybe even 4. The next thing you know, you're a household name. But love what I saw. Again, kind of skating around the idea that I don't really have a name for Modestas, but I would love to see him get back in as soon as possible. Dish it back to you, my brother. Any thoughts here? Anything that stood out to you, even though we both did think Modestas was going to take care of business, but in that fashion, definitely something to talk about. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great, man. And when it came to this fight, look, I mean, you already pretty much took all the meat off the bone, not going to lie. The only thing I can add is, dude, those follow-up shots. And usually when we say follow-up shots, folks, we mean follow-up shots to a grounded opponent, right? The follow-up shots I'm talking about here are the ones to the man who was obviously out on his feet, just eating them, bro. It was bad stuff. Modestas Bukauskas is a bad man, the Baltic Gladiator. Look, what's next for him? Man, there's a couple names you could give him. But realistically, like Rafael Cerqueira, he's not ranked, right? So you don't want to feed him to the wolves really yet. But if Alonzo Menafield is ready to fight again around the same trajectory, he fought on the same card. He had a win. I think those two would probably match up pretty well against one another. So give me that one. I like Alonzo Menafield against Modestas Bukauskas. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. The only thing I didn't like about this fight is I don't feel like I learned a whole lot other than his striking is crispy, right? It looked the best it's ever looked, arguably, and the strongest it's ever looked. We don't really know a ton about Cerqueira inside of the UFC. And he got it done in quick fashion, man. So with that being said, we move on into the next fight, which took place in the middleweight division between Eric Mechanico and Nursulton Ruziboyev. Man, oh man, I'll take the lead on this one, Nano. This was a fantastic fight to watch. Ruziboyev is an absolute savage. When I first looked at this fight, I literally said that there was a massive mismatching that was taking place here in terms alone of experience, right? You have a guy that's 34-9-2, coming in against a man that's 9-2-1. And of course, now it's 35 wins for Nursulton and 3 losses for Eric Mechanico, because that's what happens when you fight a guy that has literally more than 3 times, almost 4 times the number of fights you have professionally. And oh, by the way, over 30 of those are wins. So Nursulton's a stud. Also just has a hell of a reach. He landed 24 of 46 attempted strikes. His opponent landed 6 of 16 attempted strikes. Nursulton got 2 knockdowns and ultimately ended up just getting a nasty knockout 33 seconds into round number 2. He had him hurt at the end of that first round, and it was almost as if he was saved by the bell, and Nursulton was like, cool, now I'm going to end you. Charged forward relentlessly and just got a finish early in the second. Nano, what meat did I leave on the bones for you, brother?
Plenty, my brother. I appreciate you, man. A true professional, working on his craft, man, every day, twice a week around here, usually on Mondays, maybe Tuesdays, and then other times Wednesdays, maybe Thursdays. Either way, y'all, we appreciate tuning in. You could always catch us live, thriving, and staying alive. We're surviving, baby. Before I keep going, shout out Crossover MMA, chopping it up with the boys. You know how we do. Chop suey around here, man. Appreciate having you. Appreciate the content as well. If y'all don't know about him, go check him out. He's worth the follow. Always giving good tips. Breaks it down like a true pro also. But again, let me get back here to Nursulton, man. What a savage. What an absolute beast. What a dog. What an MFN problem, as Lil Wayne once coined here for you young folk. If you don't know, you better get familiar. One of the greatest to ever get on a microphone. And I'm talking about Lil Wayne, if you don't know. Again, reiterated. But shit, Nursulton might be, he's similar in the rap game. He's slowly becoming a guy. I mean, that amount of fights, that amount of features, he's kind of like a Lil Wayne, man. Slowly but surely becoming the greatest of all time, slowly slept on. But he's got to make it. He's got to keep on keeping on, right? We expected him to take the victory here, take control of this fight. He was able to get it done in the second round against an Eric Mechanico, who is a tough son of a gun, but I say that name, and I don't know if much comes to mind for you or you fans out there. Obviously, you're all sickos like us. You probably know who he is, but not a household name, not somebody that's going to help pat the already statted resume, or I guess a lot of wins under his belt for such a young age. All what I'm leading up to here for I think what's next. Again, he's proven everything to me, but we need to see that next level of competition. We need to see that step up. I'd love anybody else that might be similar to him in terms of the amount of experience. Although, unfortunately, a lot of those guys are on the back nine of their career. I'm looking at a GM3. I'm looking at a Bull Craig, who's always a game fighter, but both are coming off losses. I don't know if Nursulton's going to get excited about that or if that's the right move for the UFC. Maybe you try to get him going with somebody in the right direction as well. And I like this guy, too. It pains me a little bit, but I'm thinking an Andre Petrosky. I think a good name there as someone that could be a good litmus test for, hey, who's ready to be a top 15er, right? Bo Nicholson there, fresh meat in the top 15. Who else can potentially make a name for themselves? Roman Kopolov might be a little too rich for my blood, but curious to hear your thoughts. If you're in the chat here, let us know how you're feeling as well. Whatever platform you're on. If you're live, if you're thriving, let us know how you're feeling here. What'd you think of Nursulton? I think he's a stud. Is he a top 15er? I think he's bound. I think he's on track now. But maybe a win over one of those guys I mentioned. Specifically, Andre Petrosky might be the move. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I actually was not thinking Andre Petrosky. I was leaning more towards somebody. I was taking a page out of your book here. I was leaning towards somebody with his fight experience or level of that fight experience, right? I was leaning towards a Brad Tavares.
Ooh, I like that a lot. That's explosive.
I think that would be a fun fight, and if not him, maybe somebody like a Rodolfo, the black belt hunter Vieira, who, granted, only has 13 professional mixed martial arts fights, but he is a prolific Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor. So I think that could be another name.
I like it, my brother. I like it. I think we're circling in the right ballpark. We're certainly in the right league here, in the right vicinity when it comes to what's next for Nursulton. But he's a stud now. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bigger name than even who we mentioned. He's always going to answer that call. So good performance.
Absolutely.
And, looking forward to what's next for him.
Absolutely. And dude, perfect segue, you bringing up the word stud. Because the next fight featured a stud for sure. It was a catchweight bout between Austin Vanderford and Nikolai Veretennikov. Look, man, Austin Vanderford looked dominant in this fight. It was 102 strikes landed to 21. And 39 significant strikes landed to 5. So, I mean, essentially, the opponent, landed more than 4 times what his opponent landed across the board here in significant strikes. And again, 2 for 4 on takedowns, looked fairly dominant everywhere the fight went, attempting submissions across the duration of the fight. He impressed the heck out of me, man. Ultimately getting the TKO stoppage, right? The only thing I really didn't understand about this fight was the shove at the end. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, I went back and watched it. I didn't see a ton of back of the head shots, if any. Did you?
Is that why he got mad? I was going to ask you what exactly happened there, but if he's claiming back of the head, I mean, the referee was on top of it. I don't think he was calling a lot. I didn't necessarily see a ton. I really just didn't see a lot of defense. I saw a tired Nikolai and obviously a frustrated and angry and, dare I say, maybe a little butthurt. Unprofessional. You simply can't do it. Why do it? I mean, yeah, stealing the thunder a little bit, but you just, it's unacceptable. I'll hand it back to you, brother. I didn't think that was warranted.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I mean, running up, if you want to shove a guy, be the Brock Lesnar that does it. I mean, even if you're going to cheap shot somebody like that, he did it to DC. At least he did it facing him, right? You're going to really do that with a guy's back turned to you? What kind of scumbag move is that?
After you lost, too. It's not like it's we just faced off and maybe said something under your breath and, whatever, I guess, heat of the moment. This is a little different here. You just lost. What are we doing, guy? I'm surprised the ref let him get close to him now. Can't let you get close to me now. That's what he should have said. But let's get close.
Yeah, let's get close.
Just a bad look. But I did like Austin Vanderford's response. the two birds up and see you next Tuesday, man. You love that was a good moment. So good exchange, I guess, might have came from it there.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna put you on the hot seat for this one. What do you think should be next for Austin Vanderford in the UFC now that he is officially a UFC fighter, right?
It's official. Yeah. I don't know how that works. If it's a prove it type deal where you win in your debut, or maybe he already signed a 2 or 3 or 5 year term. Again, don't know how that works contractually in the UFC. So let's assume he's going to stick around. He obviously got to win, got the finish there in the second round. Again, dominant performance through and through. Proved to be a tough guy, has good skills, kind of a wide stance, but he's stocky, and I think he uses it to his advantage. You kind of think of like a Michael Chandler, can lunge in, can generate power in those short range kind of situations, or find in the phone booth, like we like to say. I guess what weight class is he going to be? I guess is one question here. They were at a catch weight, so should we assume he's a big boy now too? Is he going to want to do the weight cut at 34 and try to?
I think he fights at his normal weight class of 170.
170.
Yeah. There's killers at that weight class too.
Yeah, I mean, we just got an absolute shakeup here at the top of the division with a JDM fighting against a Bilal Muhammad for the belt. Not sure what's going to be next for a Leon. Shavkat. You got Machado. Actually, Sean Brady might be next, right? He's in the mix as well. Maybe him and Leon, I think we heard. Or I could be throwing out rumors. But again, all these guys in the mix. I know what Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales is on the horizon. Is this guy in that same class? Oh, man. It yet to be proven, in my opinion. I would like to see probably another bout against somebody like we were talking about here, similar age, status. I mean, man, I'm looking around. Honestly, the first name that comes to mind here, and I don't know if he's still fighting, but a Michael Chiesa is kind of a fun staple in the UFC, poses a lot of threats, not as much of a striker, which does make me afraid for Michael Chiesa, who at 37 years old, maybe that's not the most ideal fight for him, but a Jake the Celtic Kid Matthews, potentially somebody like that.
I was looking at Jake Matthews, but Jake Matthews is coming off of a very impressive win, right? I feel like that would almost be like punishing him to give him the new guy who's coming off of a loss. Chaos Williams is a name that comes to mind for me, and I think that'd be a fun fight.
The namesake itself can definitely fill up a fight night or a prelim on a pay-per-view. Like, those are two guys that will definitely cause chaos. And Mr. Vanderford, he's no longer Mr. Van Zandt. He made a name for himself now. So curious to see what he does next with the momentum and with that dog mentality he displayed. But I like that. I like that name. You pair him up, I mean, most of the time he might be the A side, right? At least at this point. Again, he's A side of the card, that is. I don't know, man. I like it, though. I like Chaos.
I think so. I like Chaos, too. But I think they match up well against each other. And, again, I think he'd be a good litmus test. Like, the other names that I were thinking were like a Gunnar Nelson or a Muslim Salikov. But I don't know if Muslim Salikov is still fighting, right? And also Max Griffin, same. I'd be down to watch both those fights, but I feel like the most viable option there is Chaos. Shout out to Adrian in the chat. What up, A-Train? Happy Monday, fellas. Good to be back seeing you guys in action, firing facts. Good to see you back in the chat, brother.
Adrian, the ace on the golf
course.
Pour
up a shot for you here in just a moment.
Ooh, damn straight, brother. Always. Appreciate them. Let's go. You know the vibes.
Let's go. I mean, when do we have? We'll have one to do in 3 fights. If you want to wait till then. Then we actually have 2 back-to-back. So yeah, we'll wait. Oh man, this next fight in the bantamweight division, boys. Ricky Simone coming in against Javid Basharat. Look, this guy came in as a dog, did Ricky Simone, and you know how we feel about dogs on this show. Oh, man, Nano. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because I did last time. Let's hear it.
I appreciate it, brother. I'll definitely make sure there's plenty for you to break down as well. But at a high level, man, Ricky Simón went out there and got it done, my brother. The old grizzled dog, the savvy veteran, just found a way, man. And I don't know what it was about Ricky that we felt good going in, right? Obviously, I think just what he was able to prove, the pedigree he has, the experience, and knowing, hey, he's been in there with the best of the best. And he does pose some problems. Like, he's still getting better. He still has that strength to him, that kind of physicality, and it showcased, man. Didn't need much more than the first round there to go ahead and take care of a young and up and coming prospect in a Javid Basharat, who was, doing well at distance. He was able to land some strikes. I mean, he technically landed more strikes than Ricky, but it was the takedowns. It was just a well-rounded game. And then, man, hey, all it takes is one shot now to change everything, to turn the lights out, to put your career back on where it needs the track it needs to be on. And this was that staple win, who, again, a Ricky Simón, always count on him. Surprised he's dog odds. We probably won't be getting much more of that. But with that in mind, I think you got to get him back in the top 15. Like, why is this guy, not getting the respect or not getting that kind of nod or notoriety? I don't know. But he's an absolute savage. A lot of wins in the UFC, and they're continuing to stack up. I'm looking at a number 15 who still needs to be proven, right? I mean, a lot of the guys in the top 13 onward, solid names, all have good resumes. I mean, maybe a Kyler Phillips who's coming off a loss, but I like a number 15 there, Montel Jackson, for Ricky Simón in terms of what's next. Curious to hear your breakdown, if anything stood out to you. I know we were taking this dog, but why were we so excited and confident of this dog? I want to hear your thoughts there. And if you like those two call-outs, maybe in terms of a number next to Ricky Simon's potential future opponent. How you feeling, brother? Talk to me. And the people.
Yeah, man. First and foremost, as always, great breakdown, Nano. Look, dude, why were we so confident going into this with Ricky Simón? I'll tell you. It's because he has power in both hands, and he's built like a bulldog, which serves him well, right? When you are a grappler the way that he is, I mean, if Merab Dvalishvili is Budweiser, this guy is Bud Light. They're very similar. One's just like a little bit less aggressive than the other, right? So that's the situation with Ricky Simón. He came in here. He always had the wrestling threat coming in, and it showed, right? He shot 3 takedowns, only landed 1. In that one, he got a minute and 14 seconds of control time racked up. But the other 2 weren't even really strong shots. He was basically just shooting to get his opponent biting on him. And then when he got his opponent biting, every time he would throw anything, if he'd drop a level at all, his opponent would lower his hands, which is ultimately what led to the knockout, right? He dropped the level, tap with the left hand, boom, come through with the right. And I mean, it's night and night, baby. The lights go out in Georgia. Or actually, the lights didn't go out. The lights were still on, but no one was home. His eyes were still open, but he was out cold, was Javid Basharat. It was tough to see, but it was also at the same time beautiful to see because, we bet on the man, the myth, the legend, Ricky Simón. And before we talk even further about this, Nato, can we just agree that he's a new meme fighter with the bleached hair? Blonde Ricky?
New aura unlocked here, huh? A little Super Saiyan status. I like it,
a little
brother.
Super Saiyan status is indeed correct. That's a great call out there. Speaking of call outs, I am not mad at your call out of Montel Jackson. I actually wouldn't be mad taking it a step further and maybe saying like a Kyler Phillips. Who knows? This guy's an absolute beast, and I think that he stacks out well against most of the division. As you said, Nano, got to put some respect on his name, bro.
And I almost feel disrespectful here. I'm sure some people in the comments or on their local streaming platforms might be kicking themselves or looking at this, yelling at the screen saying there's an obvious name there, one above your boy Kyler Phillips, who I did mention as well there. I'm talking about another legend, another freaking OG, assuming he isn't retired now. What about a Jose freaking Aldo against a Ricky Simón? I like it at all. Legend v. legend.
Come on, don't be crazy.
But I'm down to be a little bit crazy.
I know that.
I'm here for it, man. I know that. Yeah, sign me up, dude. Sign me up for that. In the next fight, we had Nick Klein, one of two mullets on the card. Well, actually, no, I believe it was a mullet and a skullet, right? And coming in against Mansur Abdul Malik. Malik the Freak is indeed correct, folks. My goodness, this guy is just a phenom. He landed about 18 less strikes in totality, but one more significant strike than his opponent. 1 for 3 on takedowns. His opponent went 1 for 9 on takedowns. And you could just tell every bit of this fight that one man was the obviously stronger man in there. Nick Klein, though, kudos to him. Over 3 minutes of control time over Mansur. Solid stuff. But when it was on the feet, it was the Mansur show. And if Nick Klein had questions, the man across from him had Mansur's. It was just a stunning finish. And I have a name on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not going to give it just yet. I want to hear your breakdown. And I want to hear if you think he's worthy of someone top 15 or if we should keep it like top 20.
Yeah.
After a performance like that.
Definitely a great performance, right? Great performance from Mansur Abdul Malik. He is the man, and that's right, sir. I'm trying to work that in there, so please forgive me. Out the way. But listen, man, he did what he had to do, right? I mean, all things considered, he was I don't know, minus 2,000 favorite or something crazy, minus 10,000, I forget. I'm obviously, a little bit of hyperbole there, but listen, man, he was a heavy favorite coming into this. So he did what he had to do, right? He did what he had to do, was able to take care of Nick Klein in the second round. And really it was what felt to me like he had that fifth gear, man. He had that McLaren F1 speed. He had that next level that unfortunately Nick Klein just, maybe on his best day is able to get there, but wasn't able to get there Saturday night. And that's what matters. Mansur proved why he was the heavy favorite, poured it on, and just had an absolutely exciting finish to the fight there again, midway through the second round. But in terms of what's next, I'm taking over if we're thinking top 15, top 20. I still need to see a little bit more. I can't see him going in against who might be a generated UFC fighter here in a game, being a little disrespectful. But listen, man, Nick Klein's not a household name. He's not someone that was going to be fighting for a number next time, right? Like I'm just thinking in terms of levels of contenders or top 25. I'm thinking top 30, maybe top 40. And if we are using Tapology for our rankings there, I'm seeing somebody at a 41 spot overall. And it's somebody that also is new to the UFC, but has proven to have some fun, explosive knockouts and needs to maybe prove it and take that next step up. I'm thinking of Cecilia Almeida. Fire all over it, dude. Fireworks, fire emoji. I mean, firefighters, the fireman. Call them all, man. This one's a good one, in my opinion. But talk to me, brother. Don't keep the people waiting anymore, including myself. What do we got next? What are you thinking, brother?
Oh, man. The middleweight division is a division that it has so much potential, right? But there's also so many gatekeepers in the division right now. There's also people that are always down to fight. So for me, I kind of want to see him fight somebody like a Chris the Action Man Curtis. I feel like that would be a really fun fight. Chris on Tapology is sitting at number 17 right now. And again, I just think that'd be a really, really fun matchup. Both guys are going to be down to stand and bang. And I think Chris Curtis probably gives him problems. And I also think Chris will be down to sign the dotted line for two reasons. One, I mean, he always does. When doesn't he sign the dotted line? And two, you got to think he's probably looking to get one back. And he would probably see that as a pretty favorable matchup for himself.
I like that a lot, my brother. I like that a lot. See where your head's at. Chris Curtis, always about that action, boss. And Mansur, that's the type of fighter he needs to square off against next, right? He's proven to have those type of skills, looks to be the part. Let's go ahead and see what it's about now. I like it.
You and me both. That's why I picked it. You know what I don't like? This next fight. It was a featherweight bout between Andre Touchy-Feely coming in against Melqi Costa. Man, oh man, we're gonna pour a shot because we got this one wrong. This was a tough one to watch. You could see the emotion in Andre Touchy-Feely's eyes as he was walking to the octagon. And I mean, you could feel the emotion, right? Like his significant other is about to have a child, like their first child. They've been trying to get pregnant for a while. They had trouble with a miscarriage, which is obviously tough. I'd never wish that on anybody. And you know, he's going out here with all of this emotional, not only baggage, but also fuel, right? It can fuel the fire for some people. And man, he comes out here and just unfortunately faced a very, very game opponent who had a very nasty guillotine choke. So with that being said, folks, we bet wrong on this one. And we did bet a shot on it. So here we go. A bet made, a debt paid, folks. If you drink, raise one up with us. If you don't, raise up a cup of water or whatever you are drinking. We appreciate you for being here. This one's for you, Philly.
Touchy. Hit me right in the Phillies as well. Appreciate y'all for being here and appreciate you for bearing with us. It was a tough one. That one hit really close to home. It's our boy. Tough L. All the emotions. And what did you think of the sequence, man? I mean, obviously not a lot to necessarily break down, but how did you feel about it? You know, I think people could be critical about, you know, Andre Touchy-Feely here, not doing enough. But once it's in, man, sometimes you just get a little silly and you slip right into a gilly, right? I mean, was there anything coach-wise, you know, if you're putting your coach hat on here, man, what are you thinking? What are you telling him during that sequence there, brother?
Oh, man. In that sequence, it was already in. There's not a lot you can do other than just trying to stay as calm as possible, trying to isolate and get his wrist if you could reach and grab that. But realistically, how tight it was in, it was tough. And he was cranking that thing, man. Can't even be mad that he tapped, right? Like, I see you in the chat, Dixon. Dixon Sider says Andre Philly's dead to me. It's tough, man. It's tough. He's definitely not dead to me. He's one of my favorite fighter interactions I've ever had. He complimented me on my jacket. I complimented him on his fights. I can't. He's never gonna be dead to me. He's still my boy, as Chris Weidman's dad says. Dixon Sider said, and so is Ibo Aslan. Tough. We're gonna get into that one too. We're gonna pour a shot for that one too. Fuck. But yeah, man, like if I'm his coach, I'm telling him to fight the hands, to try and stay calm, to try and go to basically just try and relax, because the more you panic, obviously, the more you're exasperated, and it's already so darn tight. It's already so darn tight, dude. So it's tough. I just think Melq fought the better fight.
Yeah, that's facts. And I was going to say, too, I mean, and Melq was so focused on it. I mean, you see it in his eyes. Like, obviously, he slipped into it right away. You maybe think there's a small chance he could always fall into it. And sure enough, he does. And Andre just wasn't really able to find a way out. I mean, yeah, you could try to change positioning. You can try to make some space. Like you said, you could try to control the wrist. But he was working on that thing from the jump. And sometimes in chess, or I guess more so, chess. I was going to say checkers, but both. You know, just get to a point where, you know, your opponent's a step or two ahead and it's over before you know it, before it's too, and you just didn't see it, you know, before it was too late. But before I keep going here, making the walk in the chat. What up, making the walk? Now making the talk here. Had a great night, except for Feely, ... I'm gonna add a sad face for us here. Q and the violins, as well as MMAnomaly, the producer with the most there, already has on Q. Love to hear it there. Still my boy as well. Hey man, we appreciate it. He's the guy. He's a legend. Guess he forgot he was in an MMA fight. And definitely some subliminal messaging there. Well, not that cryptic. Andre did come out and say, hey, my head, not that my head wasn't in the game, but paraphrasing here, he said, made some mistakes, wasn't my night. You know, and that's basically as simple as it was. Didn't fight a perfect fight. Doesn't take much. All it takes is one slip up in this violent game of mixed martial arts, man. Small margin of error. So for that being said, Melq deserves it, man. He deserves the flowers. And he certainly deserves somebody that also is making their way into that top 15, right? Somebody like a Muhammad Hillman, Naimov, I really, really like stylistically. Someone I kind of forgot about as well, the Korean Superboy, Do-Ho Choi. You gotta get him back in the mix, brother. A lot of exciting names here in the featherweight division for a Melq, who now at this point, you know, with his skin condition, almost full creamy milky white now. So I'm excited to see what's next for the brother. He's got a lot in the bag, man. This was a good win. And for Andre Touchy-Feely, honestly, sky's the limit, man. I hope he focuses on the family and gets compensated. And if he needs to get back out there, yeah, hope he gets the fight he wants against a legend, an OG, against a dog. Honestly, I'm looking at Nate the Train here on the rankings. I'm like, dude, I'd love something like that. I mean, anybody just to put on a good show. I'm rooting for Andre, though. You know the vibes.
Well, Nate the Train, not a bad idea. Yeah, I had Do-Ho Choi, but yeah, I literally had Do-Ho Choi on my list. I just think they match up very well. They'd put on a barn burner of a fight because Do-Ho, I mean, he literally has a fight that's in the Hall of Fame already. How young is this kid? Come on, against Cubby. So, oh, dude, making the walk. Do-Ho Choi is an overseas star in the making. They need to capitalize on that, dude. Literally speaking words through my mouth, my friend. I feel the same exact way making the walk. Jax is always spitting facts. That's probably why his name rhymes with the word, folks. If you're not already liked, commented, and subscribed over there at Making the Walk, please do me a huge favor. Go on over there. Drop a sub, and make sure you smash that bell for notifications. Then come back over here, finish up this video. Then go back over there, watch some of his. Yeah, so that's what I think should be next for him. I would love to see Korean Superboy against Melq Costa. And it sounds like you'd really like to see a different direction, but it doesn't seem like you'd be mad at Do-Ho Choi.
No, I like it. I mean, I definitely mentioned that as somebody that I think is a good, exciting name. You know, you beat Andre Touchy-Feely, you beat an OG in the game. Hey, go ahead and get rewarded for that. Yeah, I think that's a great. That's it right there. Book the check, sign it. Come on, put a date on it now, Dana. If you're listening,
put a date on it. Yeah, just come on. Put a date on it. Send the contracts. Sign the papers. Sign the fucking contract. Dude, this next fight was just sad. I'm stalling, obviously. It was a light heavyweight bout between Iwan Cutelaba coming in against Ibo Aslan. And boy, oh boy. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I have not said or heard the word Aslan this many times in a 7-day time span since The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out in theaters. My goodness. I know it's a bad joke. I know. Leroy, holy squeaky wheel hologram. It's Nano.
The one, the only. Good to see you, Leroy. Appreciate you.
Leroy.
About this card, man.
Yeah, tell us how you're feeling about this card. And also, Leroy, since you're here, pour up a shot, my friend. Because we're about to do one for Ibo Aslan since we both had this guy. And he lost. Oh, man. I'm so sad that he lost. He was doing so well on the feet. And then as soon as this fight went to the ground, I could already taste the whiskey. I could already taste it. And here we go. when we get him wrong, you know how it goes, folks. I've got one poured up. No. He's going to get one poured up. And while he does, I'll go ahead and start breaking down this fight. It didn't take much control time from Iwan Cutelaba, but once he got on top, again, I knew it was going to spell the beginning of the end, and it looked like it instantaneously. He looked very sharp on top, more so than I remember ever seeing or noticing, at least. Probably because he typically stands on his feet and likes to throw kind of crazy shots and just over-accentuate everything he does. But man, he looked extremely slick, like a well-oiled machine on top, and ultimately ended up ending the fight in an arm triangle choke. Things you love to see. Things you don't love to see at the same time. It was tough. It was tough, Nano. I really thought this Evo guy was going to be possibly the future, but it's tough. As Making the Walk just said, how do we treat Ibo Aslan going forward? Well, right now we treat him with a shot. Nano, you want to do the toast for this one?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I've been saying on the golf course, and I think a good lesson here learned as we take this shot is it's not all the time about how you start, it's how you finish, okay? No matter where you're at in life, no matter where you're at in the day, the night, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish now, okay? So let's finish strong like Eon does, and let's go ahead and let's remember that when in doubt, think of Leroy's beautiful face if you need to pick me up as well. Cheers to Leroy as well. Salud.
Cheers to Leroy. Cheers to the people.
But how do we treat him making the walk? You pose a question. We treat Ebo as, man, similar to Eon, right? I mean, somebody that is always going to have that puncher's chance, but we need to see him do more. I mean, he was a fish out of water on the ground, absolutely ran out of steam. And I don't know how you coach that, right? Outside of maybe training in some elevation or just finding a style of fighting that fits, you know, what your gas tank is, you know, turn into a hybrid, know when to turn it up, when not. Don't gas yourself out when you think you might have had an Eon hurt. Again, unless he's completely out cold, he ain't going anywhere. That dude's like Jason. Okay, if we're talking, yeah. Talking Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. I apologize. Wrong movie. But listen, man. Yeah, it was a tough one. Dixon sided with another long comment here. Stay spitting fire. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a tough one. It's just simply a tough one. We need to see him develop his game. But Cutelaba is somebody that it's always fun to watch. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, his parameter didn't really necessarily go up for me, but you know, in terms of what's next, I'll see Cutelaba fight anybody. But I didn't learn a lot about Ebo as well. I think, unfortunately, it's kind of a wash, but it was a fun one for as long as it lasted.
Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes and 51 seconds, there's not really a whole lot to be learned other than the fact, I mean, I didn't learn anything about Ebo other than the fact that he should probably work on his ground games and more so his ground game, or sorry, more so than his ground game, he should really just work on his urgency in trying to get back to his feet. He accepted position a little bit too quick there and made the arm triangle all but easy, or all but hard, I should say. Dixon Sider. First of all, Leroy said, cheers, lads. I know you did one with us. We appreciate you, brother. Cheers to you. Dixon Sider said, I told the Turkish guys at the embroidery at the mall to watch Saturday night because Ebo was going to make their country proud. Now I don't even want to go back to get the shit I brought for them to embroider.
I thought you were disrespecting him. Yeah. Maybe have your spouse or a friend pick it up for you on your behalf if possible.
That's definitely the move. Or wear glasses and a hat. Leroy Dixon Sider. Shame. Yes, indeed, shame.
A jacket. Yep.
So look, man, we're all sad about Ivo Aslan losing, obviously, the last Ottoman. But what we should be talking about is how good the Hulk looked out there. And that should be rewarded, right? Like, whether we like it or not, he went out there and he made a name for himself over the shiny new toy in the light heavyweight division. So good on him. We've seen shades of brilliance from him, you know, momentarily, right? I almost feel like putting him in there against a real test, right? He's not in the top 15 right now by any means. But I do think he deserves somebody in the top 15. And not just that. I feel like he deserves somebody fairly up in the top 15. Like a Volkan Ozdemir or an Alexander Rakic. Really, really give this guy a test. Big Modi next. Modestas Bukauskas? You want him to get Bukauskas? I'm happy with that, bro. Modestas Bukauskas. I'd be happy to see Modestas Bukauskas versus Iwan Kutelaba. Nano, what do you think of that one? Big Modi.
Not mad about it. I like Big Modi, man. I like Big Modi. I would say, yeah, gut reaction is it's probably the right litmus test for both guys. Nobody's, fighting for a title next round. So I do think it makes a lot of sense. And I personally like the idea of guys that have both recently fought, if maybe on the same card potentially, maybe guys that have fought recently or are looking to fight within a similar time frame. I don't like guys taking too long off. So timing's everything. Both these guys are at the right place at the right time. Why not? I like where your head's at, Leroy. Gosh, you're so beautiful. Keep it up, man.
The bromance is real today, folks. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Also not mad at the bromance. I never could be. So with that being said, folks, we move on into the main card. It is main card time. We had a lot of canceled bouts. We've already talked about it at the top of the show. But even with all of those canceled bouts, it was a fantastic card altogether. Alonzo Minifield versus Julius Walker started off the main card, Nano. And that was in the light heavyweight division. I thought it was probably one of the least exciting fights of the entire night. And yet it was gifted Fight of the Night award. Those guys won an extra $50K each for that performance. I don't understand. Leroy said, if you could see me blushing right now, my goodness, you guys get a room, or at least a blanket or something in the corner of the room, Anyways, in this fight, we took Alonzo Minifield. We thought that he would probably go out there and get it done, even though we didn't know a ton about Julius Walker outside of the fact that he has 6 finishes and 6 fights, and all of them are wins. Not anymore, right? Now he finally went to decision. Had a solid game plan. Went out there going for the grappling, the takedowns early. He shot 9 takedowns, only got 1 though. 11.1% accuracy with those. And I mean, he was able to generate enough damage from the top, but not enough to win the fight. And it's tough, right? Because I think if he had actually went out there and maybe trusted his hands, tried to get the knockouts the way that he had in the other 6 fights that he's had professionally, maybe he would have had a better shot. But at the same time, when he was getting hit on the feet, it did not look good. Like he was eating big shots. Make of the Walk said they threw a dart at the wall in the war room to pick that fight a fight of the night. Yeah, absolutely facts. That's what it feels like, because I feel like Brendan Allen versus Carlos Fluffy Hernandez, or sorry, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, would have been way better. Sorry, I'm already thinking about Carlos Pretes because they announced that fight recently. But no, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in there against Brendan Allen, I feel like that deserved fight of the night, if we're being completely real. On spade here. But Nano, talk me off the ledge. Was this deserving at all of fight of the night, or me and Jack speaking facts?
I was surprised it was fight of the night, definitely. Although it was a split decision, it was competitive. There was a lot of action, a lot of punches thrown, right? Over 100 for both guys. Over 10 takedown attempts between the two, mostly from Mr. Juice, JW over there, Julius Walker. But I think maybe because my barometer for or my expectations for this fight were a little bit lower, it exceeded it, man. And for that, It was fun. If I just kind of throw everything out the door, I mean, definitely a lot of action, like I mentioned. I didn't expect that from a Julius Walker. Definitely made a name for himself. But listen, man, Alonzo still got it. He's a guy that was able to contend with this young buck, keep him off, keep him at bay, and mix it up just enough to win a split decision. I guess you can make a case if you're friends or fan of Julius, you think, hey, man, he landed just as many punches. He was more active trying to get the takedowns. Again, it goes back to the whole scoring piece of, us not necessarily knowing. And it was a split decision, so it was close enough for 2 out of those 3 judges to disagree. But I think Alonzo got it done, man. He was the guy that's the veteran, and maybe he got a little bit of the nod. Ty goes with the runner kind of scenario there. But it was a fun one, man. And I don't want that to represent maybe a slower kind of night. I mean, there was 8 finishes on the card. I guess maybe you can't give a fight to the night, or just you could maybe give out more performance of the nights here, unfortunately. But honestly, I thought maybe the co-main event might have been my fight of the night personally, just with some of the exchanges we were getting. And honestly, Hobby Fanch. I mean, how are we not talking about that? That might have been the easy pick. So after reading that, I guess I should go back and answer you. See, hell freaking no. That should not have been fight of the night, my brother. I firmly disagree. Man.
My guy. That's why you're the co-host with the most, my friend. Dude, first of all, let's see here. I'm sorry to do it, but I'm toast. Gonna catch the rest on playback. Much respect to you both. Real ones to you, my friend. Hope you sleep well. Making the walk said night, Princess Leroy. Night, indeed. Leroy said one of those rare ones where if Cejudo didn't bitch out, Dana would have given everyone who got a finish a bonus. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Sav in the house. If you're not already following at Sav Jelly on all platforms, make sure you go over there and give her a follow. She is great people. And she also is very, very crafty. Just such a cool Instagram to follow, if I'm being completely honest with you folks. And her YouTube's pretty great too. Leroy, hi, bye, Sav. Hi, Sav, bye, Sav. I love our chat so much, man. Yeah, I think the co-main event definitely deserved it. What's next for Alonzo Menafield? Well, I think I already talked about that at the very top of the show, right, Nano? So you already heard my pick. I don't know if you need me to remind the people, but I can. It was Modi B. What do you think should be next for young Alonzo Menafield?
Oh, man. I like it. I would say if you're an Alonzo and you took this kind of fight on short notice, you put yourself at big risk. You got the 15 next to your name. You got the number. I don't know if you want to do the UFC any more favors in terms of taking somebody else that doesn't have a name. Like, how much return on investment are we getting if you're an Alonzo and if you're his manager? I may be looking onward and upward, my brother, as we like to say around here. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep growing on that ranking. And I'm going to try and make a case for somebody, even at a 14. I mean, an Anthony Smith, a Bogdan Guskov. I mean, I got to look at the landscape a little bit more. But I would just say at a high level, anybody that's ranked can get the smoke from an Alonzo Menafield. The reality is he ain't no spring chicken anymore. He's got to go out and try to make quick work of a title run if he's going to do it. It's now or never. Strike while the iron's hot. So give me one of those guys, frankly, whoever is willing to answer the bell, but they need to be ranked, in my opinion. So I'll agree to disagree with you. I don't hate our boy Big Marty. I think I'd appreciate him getting the nod there. And if I'm the UFC, honestly, it makes sense to maybe give someone else that nod versus trying to keep pumping up an Alonzo Menafield who I don't know how many more fights he has. I don't know. But then again, Anthony Smith's still there. And I'm like, what's going on with that? That's is there anybody that ranked that you like if Big Modi isn't in the conversation?
All right, you want a ranked light heavyweight for him, yeah?
I think he earned it.
All right. If you think he earned it, then give him fucking Bogdan Shadovich Guskov.
I think that's the move, huh?
Evil Anthony Smith. Brother, Creative fighter Anthony Smith at the beginning of his career who hasn't gotten any tattoos yet. That's who you give him.
I like it.
I like it a lot. I knew you were gonna flip that on me. Like, if you had to pick somebody ranked, who would it be? I was like, this fucking guy. And then I literally already was like hovering on Bogdan. And then you said Anthony Smith, and I'm like, bro, but Bogdan's right there.
Hey man, I try to lead you to some water there. I'll lay it out for you to play it out, brother.
Oh, okay, all right.
I love the pick though, brother. I love it, man. Always ready. You gotta get ready. Come on.
That's how we do, baby. That's how we do. Sav said, too kind, not kind enough. We try. We're trying to be so sweet we give all our fans cavities, you know? With that being said, folks, we got to talk about a fight that was definitely sweet enough to give you a cavity of toe. Oy, man. And with this one, folks, we got to talk about a featherweight fight. Got to put my glasses on so I can read here. Between a man named, I believe it's Gene Silva. Just kidding. It's fucking John Silva coming in against Melq Boxadarian, folks. And my goodness, the fighting nerds. Can we talk about these people? Can we talk about these people? These fighting nerds are just incredible. They are on a tear. They are on a run. Son, it is one to see, and it has only just begun. I am here for it. I want to take the steam on this one, but I feel like I need to be nice and let you take the lead on this one, no, because it's just so good. And I'm trying to be polite here. Please tell me how this fight made you feel, bro.
I appreciate it, brother. In typical fight nerd fashion, you got a lot of class and you got a lot of heart as well, brother. And that's exactly what we saw from a John Silva. The dude's just oozing aura. He's got the moxies, I like to say. And what I'm trying to say here is, man, he's must-see TV. He's got all the charisma and he's got the freaking skills, right? He's got the class. He went out there and he showed respect to his opponent, Melq, dapped him up halfway through that fight, and then went on to just freaking pummel him. Gave the referee a shot as well, like, hey, sure you want me to go in and try to take this guy's life or take some years off his life? Okay, if you insist. Drop down and gave some absolutely vicious elbows to the body that MMAnomaly is kindly displaying there with the glasses and those 12x6 elbows. I mean, they were ferocious, my brother. They were absolutely nasty. I mean, even just the combination to drop his opponent. I mean, it kind of felt like maybe he was playing with his food a little bit there, but all of it really, all 4 minutes that it lasted, it was, Jean being really calculated, being measured. Everything he does, it's purposeful. He carries a lot of power. He's a big boy. He made 145. I think I was curious to see where he was going to weigh in at. Thought he was going to go, the 146, but he's able to get all the way down to that potential championship weight, which is what it's all about. I think that's where he's going in terms of what's next for a boy here. Why not feed him to the wolves, man? I think he's ready. I think he's got all the skills. He's got the steam behind him, that hype train. And there's some guys in that top 15 that are coming off losses, that have fought recently. Even somebody that's newly ranked. I mean, I wouldn't want to feed him to my boy Yusuf Zalal. I think Yusuf should continue to climb the rankings for himself. But, man, I mean, the guy he beat, a Calvin Cater against a John Silva, my goodness. A Dan 50K Ige. I hope he doesn't have a dance partner. But that, to me, is a bloodbath waiting to happen right there, in my opinion, brother. How you feel about a couple of those names? Maybe even your boy Giga. Even your boy Giga's up there. Is that too high? Is that too rich for your blood? Is that gonna give you some diabetes? Is that too sweet for you? Talk to me, man. And talk to the people that are listening here. All 27 of them, which we appreciate. Thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the smash for bells and notification, baby. Lay it on us, man. What do you got?
Smash those bells for notifications, folks. This guy gets me fired up every time he fights, bro. As you said, and as always, man, great breakdown, folks. Give this man a round of applause. Ooh, John Dong, welcome to the chat, bringing in some heat. How do you guys think Prime Usman versus Fluffy at middleweight would go? Man, that is a great question. And we're going to get into that for sure. Before I derail my train of thought, while I have the fighting nerd glasses on, John Silva came out here and just, I mean, come on. The straight right hand, down the pipe, nasty with it, drops his opponent. His opponent obviously is, he is pretty much asleep on the way down. I think when he hit the mat, he woke up. And then he looks at him. He's like, "You want me to kill this man? You want me to take his life? All right, cool." And then essentially he said, "Here's a broken rib or two to go with that concussion, my friend," because he just started dropping ribs on the body. Nasty. Did I say nasty? It was nasty stuff, folks. It was nasty stuff. And what do I think should be next for him? Man, you said Giga Chikadze, which I really like. Yeah, I really do like that. And you said, is that too rich for my blood? I don't think it's too rich for my blood. I think that is actually a really, really solid play. But at the same time, I think the world of this guy. And I also think maybe we reward him a little bit more than that, Nano. Maybe we give him, and I hate to do it because we love this guy here. Maybe we give him Youssef Salal.
Whew. Boy, that is an absolute banger, my brother. I just want to see it, man, because this guy, John Silva, is no joke. And my boy Youssef Salal is a beast.
We like Youssef.
I don't want to see those two suns collide just yet, but they are, what Thanos would say is inevitable, my brother. I do like it. I do like it a lot. Again, I think you put John Silva against any of these guys, and it is a close fight, and it is a fun one. So I like it a lot. Sorry, I had to do the snap sound effect. I was just looking for it after you said Thanos. It's not something we say very often, but you said it. I was like, oh shit, I have a snap somewhere in here. We got it. Not a boy.
I guess I could have just snapped.
Oh, that too.
You win again, reality. Man. Yeah, you gotta give him somebody top 15. We love the Melqs of the world, but this John Silva guy, he's no joke. And he has such a high fight IQ. The way that he picks his shots is just something to behold, right? We're talking about a fight that was 4 minutes long, 4 minutes and 15 seconds if you want to be absolutely technical. And there was less than 30 strikes landed in this fight. And we're all talking about it. So what does that tell you? It was an exciting fight with high-level fight IQ taking place. Sav, I missed a comment from you. Just got to the airport, headed to Denver. Karate Combat. Catch up later. Safe travels to you, my friend. And I hope you have a great time at the Karate Combat event. Hopefully it is the best one you've been to yet. And with that being said, man, we got to talk about it. The catchweight bout between Hop Funch and John Matsumoto. Man. Hobby Funch is a son of a gun. And I did say it before. I said it before the fight. He was probably going to dominate with the jab. But before I even get into my breakdown, how do you guys think Prime Usman versus Fluffy at middleweight would go? John Dong, thanks for the question, my friend. I think Prime Usman probably mops him, does bad things to him. That's just me, though. I like Fluffy a lot. I think he's a really good fighter, but I think Usman negates a lot of the things that he brings to the table and does them better than him. Nano, what are your thoughts on that question?
Facts, my brother, facts. I think the bread is in the pudding here. John Dong, appreciate the question. You answered it for yourself there. The fact that you got to mention it's a Prime Usman tells me we're talking about a guy that in his prime was pound for pound, was the guy of his time. And I think even now he's giving Fluffy problems. He's got the wrestling pedigree. He hasn't had knees since freaking Nam, so I think he can still go out there He's never had knees. I mean, he's been wrestling. He's just those things are. He's basically walking on stilts right now, John Dong. Okay, so I don't think it matters. If he's answering the bell, I like the odds of a Kamaru Usman. But you answered it, my brother. A prime Usman, I think he makes work of a Fluffy, whether it's the comedian or Mr. Fluffy who took care of business this Saturday night. I think it would go prime Usman's way. You know the vibes. Great question, man. Thanks for having you. Appreciate it.
Great question indeed. And now we jump back to Hobby Fanch, folks, who came out there and, I mean, he did the thing. These guys landed exactly the same number of strikes. There was something that we have to address before I even get into my breakdown. We'll do a little bit of back and forth on that right now, folks. Not now, but right now, as John Anik likes to say. Hob Fanch went out there and he did the glove touch, right? He was like, touch. And then the second his opponent touched his glove, he drew back, bah, and just jacked him. Bah. It was nasty work. It was dirty work. It was kind of scummy work. And let us know in the chat. I am going to go ahead and put up a poll right now in the chat on YouTube. So folks, listen to me, please. There are 17 of you over on Twitter. If you could just come over to YouTube, even if it's only to like, comment, subscribe, and vote on this poll that we have going on live right now. Let us know. Was it a scumbag move? Yes or no? Because again, it was legal, right? It's not illegal. Nano, take over right now, my friend.
Yeah, I don't think it was a scumbag move. I mean, listen, man, I think all things considered, things happen in the heat of war, and the guy that deserved the win got it done here in a Hobby Fanch, man. Took care of business. I love what I saw from him, man. I think it was obvious. John Matsumoto, there's an obvious striking disadvantage here. Hobby Fanch has one of the best jabs in the game, and we knew the wrestling was going to be where he was going to have to earn his money, where John was going to have to make it muddy, going to have to get Hob off his game, and he was able to land 7 of those 10 takedowns, which is solid work, which, on paper, I mean, you may be asking yourself, why or how. Does someone like a John Matsumoto not win that fight? But man, I mean, I think the significant strikes is really the telltale sign here. 95 for our boy Hobby Fanch and only 77 for John Matsumoto. And let's also remind y'all that not every significant strike was the same. Okay, not every strike is built the same. Okay, Hobby Fanch, man, what he was doing to John, it was clear as day. I mean, he was wearing it on his face, but that jab, man, and the boxing that Hobby Fanch went out there and displayed. And I think the other thing we're not remembering here as well is this guy took the fight on short notice. It is a catchweight fight. Rob is ranked 9th. Like, you got to go out there and definitively beat the guy. I mean, we know you're
well, Rob was already training for a fight.
Right.
His opponent took it on short notice.
Right. So he took, and he didn't have to fight this guy, right? He really could have said, all right, Dom didn't fight.
I mean, he was technically supposed to fight a legend in Dominic Cruz. So yeah, you're definitely right. He did not have to take this fight.
Didn't have to take it. And I guess not that his number 9 probably wasn't on the line here, I don't think. But it's like, if you're going to go out there and beat a top 15 guy in the world, it has to be definitive. You got to really make it obvious. And I think the striking for me, if I'm judging it, I saw a good wrestler, but I saw a fighter with some holes in the striking, and it'd be hard for me to bet against. Maybe because I'm a boxing fan as well, but I thought Rob definitely won that one, man. I thought the boxing and I thought the punching and striking was the differentiator. Might have been a 10-8 round in there at some point. I think that first or third, I was like, dude, I mean, he was putting in work. But how did you feel about it, brother? And what else stood out to you on this one?
Yeah, man, great breakdown as always. Round 1, I would definitely say was arguably a 10-8 round. 21 significant strikes to 7, 27 total strikes to 32, though. So as you said, not all strikes are created the same. I think the only reason it wasn't a 10-8 round and it was a 10-9 is because John Matsumoto got 3 minutes and 40 seconds of control time there on top. But his opponent, he dropped him, right? He dropped him. He also... he hurt him. He got the submission attempt, even with only 26 seconds on top. So he was definitely the more dominant fighter throughout the duration of the fight. I thought he handily won the fight. But as you said, like John Matsumoto, he does show holes in his game. But let me tell you a little story that I heard on the opener for the fight. He told his mom that he got the call from Sean Shelby or maybe Mick Maynard, either way, one of the matchmakers. And they said, hey, do you want to fight Rob Font, Hobby Funch on short notice? And he's like, so I said, yeah. He's telling his mom this. And his mom responds with, do you know who Rob Font is? He's a top 10 fighter. Are you out of your mind? This is too soon. And he's like, Mom, this is my chance. That is movie stuff, bro.
That's so sick. That's so
I got chills. So, like, good on him. Does he have holes in his game? Yes. Is he still fresh? Yes. Is he still green? Whatever, all the terms you got? Yes. But man, he bet on himself and he bet big. And I, as you know, am a big fan of betting on yourself, man. So, if you're listening right now, bet on yourself. You are worth it. You deserve it. And win or lose or draw, you will get better because of you betting on yourself. So that's what John Matsumoto is going to do. He's going to get better from this. He's definitely going to get better from this. And Hob Funch, I mean, he's Hob Funch, man. He's the guy. He was supposed to fight Dominic Cruz at 135. And I don't think this fight does anything for him, unfortunately, as far as rankings go or as far as boosting him forward a ton. But the fact that he's a company man, that does do something for him, brother. So, Nano, do you have a name on the tip of your tongue for Hob Font?
Dude, it's so tough to pick a next opponent for a Rob Font, right? I mean, not just because of the position he's in. Obviously, this was at a catch weight, so how does that impact, his status here in the bantamweight division? But the other thing, man, is he's basically fought everybody. So are we trying to see him run it back with someone? Who does it make sense with? I mean, he's already beat a Kyler Phillips at 12. He's lost to a Jose Aldo at 11. He's lost to a Marlon Chito Vera sitting at the 6th spot. He's lost to a Corey Sandhagen at the 4th spot. He lost to a Figgy at the 5th spot. I mean, geez, he's fought everybody. But how do we look at him? What kind of challenge do we give him next? I mean, if you're Rob, and like you mentioned, brother, you're a company man, you're always willing to answer the bell. You're still keeping the show going. The show must go on. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him get any of those guys I just listed with a number 2. Like, anyone that's healthy, anyone that it makes sense with. I mean, a lot of those guys are looking for a title shot, so I don't know how excited they would be for something like that. But if we're looking for new blood, because maybe the UFC doesn't necessarily love doing it unless it is for a title or something, maybe it's just a totally new opponent. I guess maybe someone like a Mario Batista. He's sitting there at 10. Again, there's only so many people. There's only so many names. I just listed.
I hate you so much. I hate that I let you go first.
Because I'm stealing it all. Huh? I'm like the hungry hippo, just gobbling.
I literally had Mario Batista as my name.
There's only so many, my brother.
There's only so many that make sense, and I feel like that's the tip of the iceberg, right? Like that's the one at the very, very tippity top. So I'm not mad that you got the right answer for the test. Look at the glasses, bro. Par for the course. I want you to get an A+, brother. Attaboy.
I appreciate it. Oh man, it was a good open book test though, and I'm glad I passed.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, Mario Bautista. Look, you went through the litany of names that are available for us, and I think Mario Bautista is the only one that really makes sense. And after his last win over Jose Aldo, you got to think they're not really rushing or chomping at the bit to reward him. So make him fight 2 down. Make him fight the guy that just is coming off of a big win. Make him fight Hob Funch. And with that being said, folks, it's time to pour up another shot, unfortunately, because Brendan All In Allen, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, man. He lost. It sucked. I definitely have thoughts on this fight. I'll actually take the lead on this one, then I'll pass it to you. We'll do our shot first. For the people! Gosh darn it. Everyone's gonna hear it. We suck again! Oh, man. It would have been a nice parlay. Thought a 2-legger would be safe, but I just went with the wrong 2 legs.
Yep.
It's okay. It happens, folks. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. Cheers to making a fuss and a muss. Unfortunately, we missed the mark on this one, but we're still up units this week. We'll go over that at the end of the show. And look, if you drink, raise one up with us. If you don't, raise up a cup of water, raise up a soda, whatever you're drinking. We appreciate you for being you, and we appreciate you for being here. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And let's do this.
Cheers. Cheers to Fluffy, man, for getting it done, too. Against our boy. We were all in, and now we're all out. Not all out, but we're all out of the game because we lost. Super fucking lost, man. Break it down for us, brother.
Super fucking lost, man. Give me that map. That's one of the best movies of all time. Great reference, great call out, great fight. If we're being completely honest, this is the one that deserved fight of the night, folks. I thought Brendan Allen was doing really, really well in moments of the fight. And what I mean by that is, and Nano actually alluded to this earlier, I think it was maybe 3 fights ago, possibly 4. Could be off on the math here. This last one, it's a doozy. But you alluded to it that sometimes in this sport, you have to be perfect. Or, I mean, all the time in this sport, you got to be perfect throughout all 25 or 15 minutes of the fight, however long it lasts, right? And when you're not, big bad things happens. That's what happened in this fight. Brendan Allen made a couple of fundamental mistakes at pivotal moments of the fight, mainly in round 3, and obviously round 2. So in round 1, Brendan Allen got a nice takedown and just racked up 2 minutes of control time with it. He looked like he was fishing for big shots. He was landing the bigger shots, landed 30 total strikes in round number 1 to 10 of Fluffy's. And then in round 2, it was almost like the polar opposite. Anthony Hernandez was like, oh, fuck. we can grapple. I forgot about that. Sick. I'm going to do that now. And so he did, right? He shot a takedown of his own. And it was nice stuff. He went 1 for 1 on takedowns in that second round. And I'm not saying he didn't shoot takedowns in the first round. He got 2 minutes, 23 seconds of control time in the first round, shot 2 takedowns, got one of those. 50% accuracy, obviously, for those of you that are bad at math. But it simply stood out in the second round because, I mean, look, the man dominated. He got 4 minutes and 4 seconds of control time over my boy. He had me watching this movie like it was fucking Godfather, man. Look how they massacred my boy. It was bad, man. 4 minutes and 4 seconds of control time in a 5-minute round is dirty work. And then what's crazy is if you flip the script, Brendan Allen got 44 seconds of control time. So there was like 9 or 10 seconds of this fight, or this round, where someone was not in dominant control in some way, shape, or form. And then if you go into the last round, Anthony Hernandez, 3 minutes and 55 seconds of control time. More of the same on the strikes, 37 total strikes compared to 17. There was a point in time in round 3 where my guy, our guy, Brendan, all in Allen. And folks, there's a reason we're calling him our guy. Like he's our guy. We love this dude. We met him in person. He was the MMA anomaly of our awards one year. That's the wrong picture. There it is. Boom. Look at this guy. He's so freaking tall. Good Lord.
That's the man.
So, I mean, we're always going to root for the guys that we meet, guys and gals of MMA. But this one stung because I thought he could have won this fight, Nano. He had 1 round, lost 1 round going into that third. It was literally winner take all in that third round. He got top position. I believe it was like at the 2-minute mark or so. And I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I haven't had a chance to yet. But he made a mistake and basically tried to overcommit to a submission and allowed Anthony Hernandez to take top control. And from there, it was just, it was literally like 45 seconds in, 55 seconds in. He got on top for like 5 seconds and then bam, blah. He just gave up the position. I don't know, man. I was upset about it. Just the decision making in there. He's better than that. He's such a better fighter than that. We've seen it before, time and time again. I just think he got a little bit too excited in there against Anthony Hernandez. And the thing that upset me most, Nano, and I feel like a parent, like the whole, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. When they raised his opponent's hand and he looked over and he's like, what? Bro, you lost. It was a 15-minute fight and you got controlled for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You lost.
Guys, he was so disgruntled and so shocked by that too. Yeah, walking off like, oh, are you kidding me? It's like, dude, yeah, you obviously lost, brother. I don't know if your corner was telling you otherwise, but to your point, the control time, you had to have known for how much time you spent wrestling, you weren't gonna out wrestle Fluffy. So yeah, you were not on the right end of that, my brother. Unfortunately, it's tough. That's tough, man.
And your daughter's there, bro. Your daughter's there, probably sitting cage side. Like, take a page out of Poirier's book when he lost to Khabib and when he lost to Islam, right? Like, I have a shirt that literally says it. When things are good, be grateful. In times like this, be graceful. Just be graceful, bro. Like, you lost. Be like, hey, great job, man. You got me.
Yeah, it's about being a good competitor, right? Being a good sport at a minimum. We talked the talk, and he was respectful going in. And again, I mean, BA brought his daughter in there for the weigh-ins, and showing respect and everything. You want to be a good example. You don't want to show that you're a sore loser. And if it's warranted, hey, I mean, you hate to see that too. You want to try to control your emotions. I mean, I get it. This is your life. This is your body on the line. But it was not an egregious decision by any means. He lost, and that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah. And just a heads up, going to go ahead and end the poll now. Out of all the votes we've gotten, the whopping 100% of people leaning towards it being a scumbag move to fake the glove touch and hop into the jab. Not surprised, as Nate Diaz would say. Not surprised, mother effers. Sorry, we could do better than that. I'm not surprised, mother.
There it is.
Fox days, baby. You guys were really siding with Conor McGregor right now, dude. So with that being said, Nano, our guy lost. He made some fundamental mistakes. What is next for Anthony Nurmagomedov Hernandez?
Yeah, man. I mean, he did what he had to do. He took care of business, and it was a lot of him winning. But let's not get it twisted, man. I mean, that first minute or two, Brendan was really landing the calf kicks, and I thought was really gonna give him some problems on the feet. So that is kind of a hole in Fluffy's game still. I mean, obviously the wrestling's wrestling. He can control you. He can nullify his opponent's offense, and in a way really take away the will, which is why he's getting a little bit of that Habibi reference. But listen, man, I mean, Fluffy, you got to give credit where it's due. Again, it pains me to give him the flowers here over the win over our boy, where again, just a minute or two into the fight, like, I don't know why Brandon shot for the takedown. It's like, why even go into that world? Like, keep it on the feet for as long as possible. He's going to want it there. So you really felt right into his hand. No joke, like a minute or two into the fight. So as soon as I saw that, I thought, man, it's over. Even like this round, it's over. And then honestly, I just didn't really feel that good about the rest of the fight if he was going to continue to find himself in those scenarios. It's too draining. He's controlling you. He's softening you up. You're not scoring. And again, he looked good on the feet, but Fluffy wasn't going to let that happen. And all to say, though, what's next for our boy Fluffy here, man? I mean, you gotta go out there and beat the big dogs now. Brendan was definitely one of them. I mean, they fought before, so there's some of that familiarity. But Anthony's currently at the 12 spot. I'm sure that'll change. Maybe he'll move up to 9. So someone like a Vittori we haven't seen in a while, a Jared Cannonier who just fought, all pose good threats. Even a Kai Barallo, I think that matchup interests me a lot. Just to kind of see someone like a KO, the natural, go out against a wrestler like a Fluffy Hernandez. But obviously it's all timing and styles make fights. But at this point, or shit, maybe even a Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel versus Fluffy. That might be the move. The wrestling duo. What do you think, brother? Do you want to see some wrestling?
I want to see a sloppy striking match, bro. Give me Bo Nickel versus Fluffy. Because that's what happens when you have two elite level wrestlers going into the octagon, getting locked in there against each other. That's actually the pick that I have. That's what I want.
I like it.
I either want Anthony Hernandez versus Bo Nickel, and the other one is a weird name that you've already mentioned tonight, and it's Andre Petrosky.
Ooh, I like that too, brother. He's a dog.
He's the self-proclaimed the self-proclaimed best grappler. There's a lot of R's in there of the middleweight division, and I think Hernandez gives him a run for his money. And it's tough for me to say that because I have met Petrosky. He's a great dude. But I digress. Yeah. Give me Fluffy on that one.
I like it.
I will go for that. No. Let's go for that.
I'll go for that. Let's go for that. And yeah, man, in BA, I mean, you just got to get back out there, brother. I mean, you got to wipe this one off, shake it off the chest and keep it moving. I hope he gets out there as soon as possible. I don't care who it's against, but you got to go out there and you got to win, my brother. You got to take care of business, man. Get it done. Stay motivated, my brother. Stay hungry. And, you got MMAnomaly rooting for you here. And the Draft 30 as well. Come on, baby.
Let's go for that.
Well said.
That's like my favorite meme / actual fighter. Yuri Prochazka is so funny.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
He's so good. Speaking of the man, bantamweight division, we have the main event, folks. It is time. And I'm going to let someone say it who could say it better than I could ever hope to.
It's time
for us to talk about the main event of the evening, folks. It was a bantamweight bout between Henry Cejudo coming in against Song Yadong. Henry Cejudo, of course, coming in at 16-4. Coming in against a 21-7-1 Song Yadong. My freaking goodness, was this fight exciting as all get out. But I took the lead on the last one, so I would be a douche if I didn't give it to the co-host with the most here. Nano, give us your immediate thoughts while watching this fight, my friend.
Thank you for not being a real douche. No, my brother, this was a fun fight. And thank y'all for tuning in and staying here for the main card, the main event of the evening here, the main attraction. And it was certainly Yadong Song, okay? He was singing that pretty song out there, man. He looked too fast, too ferocious for our boy Henry Triple C. It's really unfortunate. I guess my thoughts going through the fight again was, the song just is too much for him. Henry did have some moments. He was able to blitz and land his fair share of some offense as well. But at the rate it was going and just the type of guy that he was in front of there in a Song Yadong for 25 minutes, it ended up getting stopped in that third round. But Henry wasn't to land any of his takedowns. 0 for 3 is really all you need to see there. If there's one stat to really call it out, it's that he wasn't able to land any takedowns on the Song Yadong, which tells me I know for a fact he was not going to be able to outstrike him. And the speed discrepancy was very obvious early on. But it was entertaining for as long as it lasted. A couple eye pokes there. Then again, the technicality there gets it ending in that fashion is a little lackluster. But at least we got 3 rounds of it. At least we got close to those 15 minutes. Just wanted to see a little bit more. And like Dana White said, I don't think I want to see that again. I think I'm okay with seeing Triple C retire. There's just really nothing else to prove at this point. You see what these young guys are capable of. Just, go out on your shield. Or let me rephrase that. You went out on your shield. Go ahead and, hang them up. You did good, my brother. Leave the battle to the next generation here. And you got the podcast and you got the coach and whatever endeavor you want to do, onward and upward, focus on the fam. But Song Yadong, he's here to stay, my brother. And he's somebody that I think he needs to get his shot, man. Not necessarily a title shot, but he needs an opportunity to go up and right some wrongs. I'm not saying to fight somebody again, but man, a figgy, can't you see? Sometimes your words hypnotize me, my brother. That is what I think I want to see personally. If it's not going to be someone like an Umar or Magomedov, who I know is hurt, he's going to need some time to recover. So if Song's trying to get back in there sooner than later, Maybe he answers the bell for a Figgy, man, the new shiny toy in the division. How do you feel about that, brother? And what else are you thinking here?
Man, I'm not mad at the Figgy pick. Definitely not mad at the Figgy pick. But before I get into that, I got to get into this, my friend. The breakdown itself. We got Henry Cejudo coming in against Song Yadong. Song Yadong looked like greased lightning out there, my friend. Look, he has said multiple times, even more so in the recent week, right? Since he went and visited the gravestone of Bruce Lee and his son, Brandon Lee, that Bruce Lee is someone that inspired him, someone he looks up to. He was striking like Bruce Lee, right? The way that he had that wide open stance, pop, 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 pop. The way that he would suck you in with the jab, just make you come in and then land the cross, land the uppercut, circle you into it. It was nasty work. And Henry Cejudo looked every bit of his age, which I hate to say out loud, but it's simply true. He was telegraphing more than he usually does. He was missing more than he usually does. And on more than just strikes, right? He was missing on takedowns as well, my friend. Because on the takedowns, he went 0 for 3. Tough. But I knew this was going to happen. I had a feeling this was going to happen. We talked about it last week. I thought Song was going to be a little bit too fast for him, and that really did prove to be the case. He outlanded him on significant strikes as well as total strikes. Fun fact, all total strikes landed were considered significant strikes in this fight. Both guys were throwing, but got to address the elephant in the room. There was an eye poke in there. It was nasty. It was corneal abrasion. There was a post about it today made by Henry Cejudo. His eyes are bloodshot and disgusting. Watching what Song did to Henry last night triggered my PTSD from back in the day when I saw... Dick's Insider, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see the rest of that comment, come on over to YouTube and check out the live chat. Things you can only get here in the live chat on YouTube. Oh man, I think he's so glad.
To sparring, like yeah, sparring.
Yeah, he's referring to sparring for sure. Yeah. I'm so glad I didn't Ron Burgundy that. That was really close. Lane, just sliding through to drop a like. Big up, you guys. Big ups to you, Lane. We appreciate you stopping through, my friend. We appreciate you hitting the like button, and if you got time, come back and rewatch, and we'd appreciate the comment, my friend. Let us know how you felt about these fights. Let us know what you think should be next for these biggest winners, and give yourself a pat on the back, because you're one of life's biggest winners, Lane. With that being said, Song Yadong, I would be remiss if I didn't say the following really bad jokes. I know, there were eye pokes, right? Those were bad. But even if the fight would have continued, I think Henry would have had problems, because at the end of the day, Yadong is just too big. Yadong is just too strong. Yadong looked really fast, really hard. And Yadong looked too slippery for Henry Cejudo to keep his hands on, to wrap his arms around even. It was tough for him to take Yadong down, and even harder for him to attempt to even think about keeping him down if he were to begin to get him down, right? So, as we like to say here, it looked to me, Nano, correct me if I'm wrong, but Yadong looked strong. Yadong looked long, and Yadong looked down to get the friction on. And he proved it. So I thought Henry was trying to ride out into the sunset. He was delusional, delulu, as the kids say. Maybe thought he was up 2 rounds, but not true. Right? He was not up. He was not up, my friend. He was not up. I thought it was a clear victory for Song Yadong. I thought it was dominant. I thought it was one way. I don't want to see the rematch. I don't. Like, before I give you my name, I was going to say, like, you're shaking your fingers. So it looks like we're in agreement. You have no interest, right?
Nah, I'm good. It's a no for me, dog, as Randy Jackson once said on American Idol.
It's going to be a no for me, dog. Yeah. I just see literally no reason for it. I think this is how they get Umar Nurmagomedov a shot back at the title, possibly.
Makes sense. It makes sense. I wonder how long the handbrake and surgery, things like that. I think he mentioned he was 6 months out. That was maybe a month ago. So maybe we get this later this year. It's a big challenge for Song Yadong, right? I mean, that's huge. But that's the right challenge if he does, like you said, want to get one step closer to the title. That's exactly it right there. That's the door. That's the final boss, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like your name better. If I'm being completely honest, I'd prefer Peter No Mercy Yan, but I think it's likely more so going to be.
Ladies and gentlemen.
It's just what I think. It's just what I think. Takes inside. All right, I gotta read it out loud. You're not allowed to say finger bang, but you can keep swinging your dong in our face? Absolute degenerate. I mean...
Phenomenal wordplay, my brother. We see you.
I mean... Oh, man, that's tough.
What a guy.
That's funny. That's funny. Things that are not funny. Things that are fantastic. Things that, by golly, no. Things that make you want to smile, my friend. Let's look at how we did on bets this week. So, these are my bets. These are, as you can see at the top, I think I did a pretty phenomenal job here labeling them Olin's UFC Fight Night bets. We got Ricky Simone, the veteran. I didn't even need to change that graphic, right? Because we are saluting the vet. And obviously that veteran, as you can see by the patch on his right chest there, he obviously watches the MMAnomaly Show. Come on, folks. Ricky Simone was a plus 205 on the sports books, but he was a minus 1,000 in our hearts, right? We knew. And then when I saw him come out with the blonded hair, holy smokes, did we know, folks? Did we know? So that was a half unit to win 1.5 units. Man, oh, it's the only thing I regret about this bet is that I didn't double down on it and do at least a unit or two. But I digress. We still turned a half unit into 1.5, and that's a good thing. We also had to do a 2-leg parlay here. Brendan, All In, Allen, and Hobby Funch, both money line. Of course, the odds stacked together were plus 751, as you can see on the screen here, folks. We put a half unit on that as well to win 4.25 units back. And instead, we lost those monies because Brendan Allen just made a sad mistake, which is why you can see me crying over there to the left side. It's so sad. Oh, man, so sad. But I digress. All right, I'll get off my stool. Hobby Funch brought us right back right before then. I mean, preemptively brought us back. You can see there the jabs, so crispy. I had to use a picture that was probably made in 1990 when the computer was made. Look at this guy. Just so good, so crisp. And plus 130? You're giving them to me at dog odds, folks. It's just so good. I had to take it. 1.5 units I put on Hobby Funch. That's how confident I felt on the dog here. Plus 130? Come on, bro. I can't believe you guys are giving them to me at dog odds still. Come on, Vegas. Keep doing it to your boy. Unless he's fighting like a freaking, I don't know, maybe a... I'm going to keep making that money on him if you give him to me at doggy odds. So keep doing it. It was 1.5 units to win 3.45. And of course, I'm no bullshitter. You can see right there in the center of the screen, I also put a unit to win 3.7 units on Brendan All In. It didn't happen, but that's okay because that's the bottom right of the screen, folks. You can see there, broad as daylight, no big deal. And next to that, We turned 3.5 units out into 4.95 units in. So we are continuing to stack those pennies for a rainy day, folks. We're going to continue to bet. We're going to continue to win. And hopefully, inshallah, you continue to win with us, folks. My goodness.
Great
so
breakdown,
happy with the bets this week, my friend.
Great bets, my brother. Shout out. And for you new listeners here, all 43 of you, if you're repeating, you know what this guy does, man. He's always hitting on the bets, and we keep it honest, right? If we win, we show it. If we lose, we show it, right? Okay, this isn't a guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed in life except death, taxes, and tuning in twice a week for MMAnomaly. Come on, y'all. Let's go. You know the vibes. But we appreciate having you. And all my brother, appreciate the bets, man. Onward and upward, man. We keep going, keep growing that bank account this year. Let's go.
Absolutely, my friend. And you can bet your bottom dollar that we are going to have, oh my God. I was just about to say we're going to have great bets this week. Before we get into this, because I just saw something that's an MMAnomaly. Oh, I'm excited about this one. Man, Dix Insider says, I can't wait to fade Ricky Simone at minus 200 plus versus whoever it is. He's going to be a massive shock. Bookmark this comment. Sell high on Ricky. Dixon, I love you, but I'm selling high on you tonight with that comment, my friend. No, I'm just kidding. We love you. Please stick around. But I'll tell you what, Dixon. Let's go ahead and make a bet next time Ricky fights. I'll take you up on a little solo bet on the side here. Sidebar. No, I got to tell you what I saw. I started looking ahead a little bit because odds came out on DraftKings Sportsbooks. We're not sponsored, but maybe someday. They'll wise up. It's out with your boys. With that being said, they're giving me plus odds on Charles Energy Johnson.
I like it. That's my boy.
I think I'm going to need to hit those before they shift because they might shift.
Get in while the getting's good now.
Folks, what do we think here? Dixon. Wait, what did he just say? Are you guys excited to see John Silva give Bryce Mitchell CT? I am. Oh, man. I know you are. I love John Silva, but Bryce Mitchell is a tough opponent for anybody out there. And it might be an Icarus effect for him if he goes against a Bryce Mitchell this fast in his career. We haven't seen him fight somebody nearly that high caliber yet. And as much as I'd love to see him beat Bryce Mitchell up, I don't know it's going to be as easy as we think it will.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would say, and if that's the litmus test, if that's the barrier of entry for Jean Silva to get into the top 15, then so be it, right? I mean, Bryce Mitchell, to your point, not a gimme. So I think I'm hedging that probably both ways, but I can see where Dix Insider is saying he's probably up on the social medias and he's in the nose of what Bryson and his podcast is talking about. I get it. I know what's going on here. I'm in the know. I got nieces and nephews,
I know that.
I might be young status, but I still got a foot in the game. Okay. But we appreciate you, Dix Insider. Listen, man, so be it. If that I'm going to watch that fight. Are you not? Are you not entertained? Is what John Silva will probably say after he does send him into the shadow realm. So, no, we'll see. It looks like we might be torn on that one. So tune in, see what the odds are, but might be onto something.
Dix Insider said, everyone afraid to fade Charles Johnson because he's going to call them out on Twitter. Don't be scared, homie. Don't be scared, homie. He's everyone's boy on Twitter that's going to bring money in on him. All love. Bro, all love to you. And fun fact, I don't know do you follow me on Twitter? Do I follow you on Twitter? I pray I follow you on Twitter at MMAnomaly. Please send me a DM. And if I don't follow you on Twitter, I'm ashamed, bro. Shame. Give me a shame bill. But my friend, I'm betting on him because I like him and I think he's going to win. And also, I typically put him on my fantasy card in the MMAnomaly Fantasy League. If you want in, let us know. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. Shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Sterling in the house. S-Dogs MMA Talk, folks.
Let's go.
I almost feel like the dogs don't do it justice. There we go. Hit him with some air horns, baby. If you're not already following this young man at S-Dogs MMA Talk, and there is a big A+ in there, folks. SDAWG MMA Talk. I have reason to believe you can all spell talk. I believe in you. Make sure you go drop a like, a comment, subscribe to his latest video. He recently did an interview with a power slap champion, I believe. Not my cup of tea, but whether it's yours or not, I'd really appreciate you going and leaving a like on the video or one of your choice, folks. Thanks for coming in the chat. And he said, I'm a little late, boys, but what's fucking popping? Let's go.
Hey, man, everything's popping, man. It's a beautiful day. As we like to say, another day in paradise. But we got Dixon Cider in the chat as well, my brother. It's popping. Yeah, man. Hey, listen. Man, might not always be suitable for work, but, you know, hey, all ages, all sizes, everyone's welcome here. Water's always warm. If you enjoy violence like us, you enjoy breaking it down. And frankly, even if you just want to have a good hang, you know, a couple of lads over here shooting the breeze. You got people in the chat like Sav, Dixon Cider. We got S-Dog, Crossover, Making the Walk. I mean, the list goes on. And if you're not in the comments, we still appreciate you just sticking around, being a ghost listener. We appreciate that as well. But hey, don't be shy now. You know, water's warm. Go ahead, let us know where you're at. Like, subscribe, comment, and make sure you smash the bell as always. You know the vibes.
S-Dogs MMA Talk said the fighting nerd alter ego Olin. Let's go, baby. Woo, we ready. Stay ready, baby. Just waiting on one of these influencer leagues to give me a call, baby. Just tell me when.
Come on.
I'm in my prime, baby. Oh man. I'll be honest with you. I'm already looking ahead for next week's bets. I'm already 1.5 units in, baby. Olin Lord Silva, baby. Let's go. You already know S-Dogs. Sterling, my guy. Dude, love having you in the chat. Love seeing you here. And Dixon Cider. What day is the show for this week's card? I don't always get notifications. That's a good call out. No time like the present, my friend. What's the calendar looking like this week, my friend? I know you are in a professional. No, it's not professional. But you're in a football league that should be considered professional because I mean my boy is making a name for himself.
Come on, man.
On Wednesdays. So what are we thinking, man? We thinking Thursday? We thinking Friday?
Yeah, I mean, if everyone likes the earlier time, maybe we can, you know, try to do something earlier on. I'll let you know. Wednesday game time is still TBD. I gotta check in with my coach, but yeah. Then Thursday, mom's getting into town, but it should be a lighter work week. So again, should be able to squeeze something in here. We'll figure something out. We'll get on the books either Wednesday. Or
Love to see it. So you heard it here. It's going to be an early Thursday show or an early Wednesday show. It sounded like it, my friend. And if that doesn't work, figure something out. If neither of those work, worst case scenario, if Nano can't make a Friday show, man, we might have to tag in Sterling or Crossover or somebody over here. Might have to get some Dixon Cider, as it were.
A live Dixon Cider, man. Let's see it.
And with the perfect timing on the comment here, no Diddy. You know, no Diddy.
Well said.
Cody Brundage round 1 DQ win because nobody takes shots on the back of the head and quits. Like the big Cody Brundage.
All right. Good job, champ.
What? Holy smokes. Sterling said, do Wednesday so I can have y'all on Thursday.
Okay.
My guy.
Might be the move.
Say less, my friend. Say less, my friend. With that being said, folks, that's the show. We have over 40 of you watching right now. Make sure that if you are watching on Twitter, you do us a huge favor. March on over to YouTube. Hit the like, the comment, the subscribe. Smash that bell for notifications, folks. It's the big bell-shaped button. And it's on YouTube at MMAnomaly. please make sure that you tune in next time, because I feel like we are going to have a really, really solid set of bets, just like we did this week, folks. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're new here or old here. If you do nothing that we've asked you to do for the rest of the show, that's totally fine. We won't hold it against you. The only thing that we really, really ask that is mandatory is that you keep on going and keep on growing, folks. And we will see you next time.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.